I wanted to be successful and I wanted to be rich. And the only way I could perceive I could have done it would have been by creating a company, because that's what I thought. Then I realized this is not the best way to make money. It's not starting a business. The vicious cycle, so the the downhill side, and then tell you how it gets uphill side. So you have a guy, in this case me, that decides wants to do a business because it's a great way to make money. And now you come up with an idea. But the problem is you don't come up with an idea because you have something you like. You come up with an idea because you want to make money. You need an idea to do it. So you tend to do a mistake. That's what everybody does, myself included, that did. You tend to do an idea that is what you think is nice, but it's not what people want. I did it because I thought I had an advantage, not because someone asked me. So as a result, you go and shove in the amount of food that they don't like, and they spit it on you. They spit it on your face, and you have to wash it out and go to the next. But after 100 times someone spits on your face and you have to clean your face, you look at a guy that is doing something similar, but then he's not as smart as you. Maybe has a like corporate job, but he's earning more money than you at this point, and he's moving stuff more along, and he's more relaxed, and he doesn't have to do pep talk every day on how good it is. And you think, oh, you know what? I thought I was smart, but maybe I'm not. And now, before you were a smart guy with a dream, now you're a stupid guy with a dream. And it gets worse. Your mind has the goal to protect you from dying. That's it. To do so, he prefers a bad known than any unknown. So anytime there is an unknown, it goes back to the bad known.
Francesco Cracolici is a serial founder and investor that is traveling the world to bring his passion out to new entrepreneurs, and especially is showing the way on how to change deeply your mindset so that you're doing what you're meant to be doing every single day. This conversation is super, super powerful. I loved it every minute because it's not just conventional wisdom, it's sharing the deeper truth behind his process from going to the very, very bottom and then growing up again and building the life he always wanted. Stay tuned, keep watching, and let me know what you think in the comments. Hello there, and welcome back to the Founder's Bible. Once again, today we are with Francesco. How's it going?
Going amazing. Best day of my life. Every day is a bliss. Thank you, Ale.
Wonderful. Well, let me break the ice right on. I know you quite well by now, but the audience doesn't. So first question, why the heck are you a founder? What's wrong with your mind? Why did you decide to actually embark in this journey?
Okay, so I think is the real reason. I guess nobody knows exactly, but nobody, even the big entrepreneur, they don't know why they're founder. What happened in my head is I wanted to be successful and I wanted to be rich, and the only way I could perceive I could have done it would have been by creating a company, because that's what I thought. Right now, if I would just pursue money, I would not create a company. I would recommend everybody here, if you guys want to make a lot of money, don't start a company. As of today, what I've been told and what I've seen, the people that made the most of the money with the least amount of effort and the best life are people that joined a very successful company. So find a company that's growing like crazy, learn to code in AI, and you become super rich in 5 years without never working more than 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day. But then, yeah, I
Wow.
started by want to make money, and then I realized this is not the best way to make money. It's not starting a business. And then it came, you want to be an entrepreneur because I want to do whatever I want. I want to have a life of freedom. And also because I want to pursue my own goal. I want to do what I want for the reason that I want. So I want to, let's say tomorrow I like to solve world hunger, then I'll go around and find a solution for it. And as an employee, you cannot do that.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm curious to understand why you did understand that starting a company was not the best way to make money. Is it because it was hard? It was What went wrong with the initial goal in that point?
Okay, so this is what I've seen, and I keep seeing every day in the startup world. I see more than 1,000 startups a year, and I can tell you what I've seen and what happened to me as well. Is you go and create a company. To create a company, you need a product. Okay, to need a product, and need some clients to sell. Now you need to find a way to get access to the clients, convince them, get the money out of them, and retain them. To do so, is this something you need to do all on your own? And just one small mistakes here, the whole castle crumble. So you need to learn all those things to do that. And to do that is means to go from 0 to 1, as they say. And to do that, you need to go on trial and error every day, every day, every day. So every day you need to do 2 mistakes and think that you're stupid and think that everything is going wrong. And then you think, oh, fuck, maybe I should have found a job. And that's what the process that you need to take until it gets to the point. Some people get to the point very early, but majority don't.
I see. I see. Well, another question that I always love to ask to start getting, real into the conversation. I don't like so much about only bragging about the success stories, what is already visible, what you already, whatever PR of marketing you launched. Tell me what's the dark side of the previous life and your current life as a founder. What have been the walls that you really smashed hard with your face? What have been the challenges so far?
So you mean more mentally or literally like practical stuff?
I think I'm most curious on the mental part
Okay.
because it can also link clearly for something physical, let's say. But then, how did it make you feel when you hit that wall?
Okay. So I'll tell you the vicious cycle, so the the downhill side, and then tell you how it gets uphill side. So you have a guy, in this case me, that decides wants to do a business because it's a great way to make money. And now you come up with an idea. But the problem is you don't come up with an idea because you have something you like. You come up with an idea because you want to make money, you need an idea to do it. So you tend to do a mistake. That's what everybody does, myself included, that did. You tend to do an idea that is what you think is nice, but it's not what people want. So let's say that you are an expert in food and you said, hey, I want to do a food podcast. But people don't need a food podcast. So now you do it because it sounds nice, it sounds cool, you've seen everywhere, it seems you can do that. You see money in that. If I'm successful, I'm gonna do that. But people don't need it. So the first big thing is the first big downside is that you clash with this reality that you try very hard, then you work very hard, then you put all you outside, then you put all your courage outside and says, this is my idea, this is my project, and nothing works because nobody cares, nobody gives a shit. So
And
that's
did
the
that happen to you?
oh, I mean, yes, so many times.
Okay.
So you kind of create a product and you pitch it and you receive 100 different no's, and it doesn't matter how good you are, you just receive a no because whatever you built is not what people want. So you receive a no. And then what happened? Then the bad things start happening because once you receive the no, you interiorize the no. And then you look at other people, they're much dumber than you and know less stuff than you. They earn more money than you because they doing something else, they're pitching something else, they have a job, and you start thinking, look at this piece, look at this stupid guy. He is more than me. So you start going downhill. He says, I think I'm so smart, but this guy that is officially dumb.
Guide me through the specific steps that happened to you in your specific
Okay.
life on this
So,
journey, because
oh,
it's very curious. I've been feeling that way many times in the past until, long story short, I got to understand what I was meant to be doing. But I'm curious to hear your story throughout the figuring
exactly.
out
That's the full
process.
point. That's the full point. So that's exactly what you. So the point is, for instance, I built a emerging market syndicate. I will travel around the planet, running my conferences, running my events, helping startups, and then I would go and find the best startup and propose them to angel investors. And then this angel investor will invest. And I'll be like, I'll give you access to the best startup on the planet that I can find in, I don't know, Cote d'Ivoire, and I can find in Costa Rica, and I can find in Tajikistan. And then this is going to be a great way for you to invest and discover new ecosystem. But then I went around and I pitched this idea to hundreds of people, but then it doesn't get any traction because people don't want this kind of startups. And I did it only because I got access to it. I did it only because I knew the startup. I did it because I thought I had an advantage, not because someone asked me. So as a result, you go and shove in the amount of food they don't like, and they spit it on you. They spit it on your face, and you have to wash it out and go to the next. But after 100 times someone spits on your face and you have to clean your face, you look at a guy that is doing something similar, but then he's not as smart as you. Maybe has a like corporate job, but he's earning more money than you at this point, and he's moving stuff more along, and he's more relaxed, and he doesn't have to do pep talk every day on how good it is. And you think, oh, you know what? I thought I was smart, but maybe I'm not. And now, before you were a smart guy with a dream, now you're a stupid guy with a dream. And it gets worse.
How did it get worse for you?
It gets worse because you stop and then like at a certain point, slowly, you kind of start to giving up as well. Because you're like, okay, well, 100 pitches, no results. Someone comes and says, hey, tell me more. You'd be like, it's okay. So what's the point?
So you kind of like, you even stopped to believe in what you were doing?
In a certain sense, yeah. And then the more, and it is like, so this is another thing that I kind of realize is it like we have so you know the Facebook algorithm or the Instagram algorithm. If you like Trump stuff, it's gonna have your feed filled with Trump. If you like kittens, you're gonna have a lot of kittens in your like if you like fight, you're gonna have a lot of fights in your. So the more you like and engage with certain contents, the more the algorithm reward with the same content. The same thing happens with your brain. The more you engage in diminishing yourself, thinking yourself is stupid, thinking that whatever you're doing is not working, then the more let's say the universe, life, your mind, whatever you want to call it, gives you back the same kind of feeling. So you say to yourself, you know what, I've been pitching this 100 times, nothing works. I've been basically wasting my time. I'm not that smart after all. And then as soon as you say that, after one day something happened or nothing happened, but you feel even worse because you notice if someone comes to you and he says, look how much money I made. And you're like, instead of saying, look how big is the opportunity over there, you think, look how stupid I am again. Why is always me? So he always go downhill and he go worst.
It's like a confirmation bias or something.
There's a confirmation bias negative in this case, 100%. Okay. And then you start seeing people and think, oh, fuck, look at this guy. And you envy people. You envy them because you cannot do what they're doing. And then you feel like every time that whatever you're trying, it's not going to work anyway because you've learned that what you've been trying is not working. So why these things should change? And that's the bottom. And the bottom is when you say, okay, it's not going to work. Let's give up. Because once you give up, you have some sort of, let's say, inertia mode for like maybe 3 or 4 months. And you're like, okay, you know what? It's part of me. So I cannot, when I give up here, but never on paper. So I'm going to spend for the 3 months like a dead body, like a zombie. And then finally, boom, you die.
Have you been in that specific point?
Yes, 100%. Like every day at 12. That's the point. Every day you get to a point and you're like, oh, no. I have been wrong all along.
How do you get out from there then?
Exactly. So you've been going down here because it's like, I have a dream and I think I'm good. And you receive no's, and you get down. And the more you get down, you have like, I'm not that good. This is shit. I've been wasting my time. Everyone is better than me. I'm so shit. And you keep digging, and then you hit the bottom. And then you take a shovel and start digging more because it never goes deeper until you almost give up. But then there's one thing that I was lucky enough to learn. They change everything. If I am a fisherman and I wake up every day at 6 with sunrise, 5 at sunrise, and I fish all day by the beach, and I get enough food to feed me and my family, and I'm loved and respected in my village. And I came home at 4, at 3, and I enjoy time with my kids, with my friends, and then I go to bed. And a very stressed guy, super rich, comes and with a Ferrari and a golden Rolex. Will I be jealous of him? No, because I have everything I need, right? I'm not going to be jealous of him. I can say, oh, look, this guy must be nice, maybe flying in first class. I never flew in first class, but I won't be jealous. I'll be like, okay, yes, something maybe I will happy to try, but I'm okay even without it, right?
Mm.
Why? Because in the first case, as a fisherman, I'm not doing anything for the money or for the status, for something external of me. I'm enjoying everything. So the point is not, the point is at the beginning, you're doing everything for the status, for the money, for something, you do something you don't enjoy, and you kind of, you are postponing your happiness for something. So you do a deal with yourself up here that's going to bring you downhill. And the deal was, I will renounce my happiness for like 3 years, and I will work my ass off doing something I don't particularly enjoy. But I will do that so in 3 years I can be rich and finally can be happy again, or can be happier, or can have this, or for any reason.
Isn't this
But
the story of any founder, though?
I think
I mean,
there's
I feel it's so mine. I feel it's like, I mean, isn't this what society teaches you? Isn't this what every other thing of like suffering for a little pleasure? Isn't this what like a safe and sound person is supposed to be doing? I've spent the last year asking top founders for their secret sauce. And the honest answer, there isn't just one. Yet, the internet keeps selling us a one recipe fits all. At Whole Grain Wisdom, we're building the tools to help you craft your own recipe so that your mind, body, and energy are fully aligned and you can perform under pressure without burning out. Our recipe is very simple. This podcast shares raw stories from founders who really had the courage to jump off the hamster wheel and rebuild their operating system without hustle. The newsletter is where I go deeper into the science and protocols behind re engineering flow and performance. And ultimately, we are running funders only retreats around the world to create the space for real transformation. And to be honest, that's where really the magic happens. Whole Grain Wisdom is where science meets ancient wisdom. It's where we become quantum founders, the entrepreneurs led by inner energy and flow and not finite willpower. If this resonates with you, then join us at wholegrainwisdom.com. Okay, now back to the show.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's true. I would avoid all these things about society teaching because we don't even know who's teaching you. Maybe it's like in is concept that is getting to your head, or it's like subconsciously taught, so maybe you were born with it. But that's definitely a case. Everybody's like, yeah, I know it's shit, but that's a
I
face.
remember the story. Look, when I was a kid, I remember the story of, I think it was the fox and the squirrel. The squirrel, saving the little nuts every single day during the summer, and the fox or some other animal just running around and enjoying life. And then the autumn came and the winter came. And during the winter, the fox was kind of starving and went to the squirrel and said, "Oh, poor squirrel, please help me out. I don't have enough food." And the squirrel was all safe and sound with all the nuts that he saved during the summer. I mean, this is literally like the basic of like the mindset that you get when you're a kid, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Then yeah, also when you study, it's like you study and it's like, ah, yeah, I know you will love to do something else, but you should sacrifice your happiness now so you can study and then get good grades. While the discussion should be, okay, how can you enjoy studying? Try to learn how to enjoy studying. So the point is, well, at least I see for everybody that I know in the startup industry, apart from very, very few, is that everything goes downhill because they start with the concept that they need to sacrifice their happiness for something else. And the something else is the money or status or what's anything, but doesn't matter what it is, because everything here, it's okay. You can, I think there's no judgment here. You can basically go after anything you want in life. But the problem is the sacrifice. The problem is because you do a deal with yourself, You're not going to be happy until you get it. And the more you keep doing this, the more unhappy you are, the more you feel like shit.
How did you really get to learn this? Because it happened to me. If I go back and see my own personal story, I started to see examples of what you described that could have showed me the way faster, but I had so many internal blocks. It took me so much time to break down the previous belief system to start rebuilding a new one. And every time I had to need to get like a bigger proof, a bigger proof, a bigger proof that actually the other way was still completely safe and actually even more efficient. Go like kind of like put me back into the past and tell me exactly how did you feel through this journey. What have been the walls that you have to be like that you had to tear down in order to build something else? Because it's not so easy. Like what you're saying, it's the process of what it should be, but your limiting beliefs are always going to stop you during the whole journey. You're always going to do self-sabotaging. I cannot believe that you made it like, one day I woke up and I learned
No,
it.
zero. It's a process, of course. Yeah, but
Bring me
okay.
through the process for you.
Okay, I can tell you the process. I don't actually. So the process was pretty easy. It was like, okay, everything is shit. So everything doesn't go well. So it doesn't matter anymore. Literally doesn't matter. So my logic doesn't work anymore. And also, like, there's another thing. Like, I realized I could have worked. Basically, I proved myself wrong because I was working like crazy, and but I was working like crazy, and I never. I'll be honest with myself. I never lack of confidence. I always knew I was the smarter person in the room most of the time. 99% of the time, I'm also the most charismatic person in the room. I can talk like is my. I enjoy talking, and when I talk, people listen to me. Like, so I knew I have all these things. I'm not bragging about it. I'm saying I came from a position and I know I was
Mm.
better, but still it wasn't working. And I was working more, and still it wasn't working. So I said to myself, whatever you're doing is wrong. Because if you're Cristiano Ronaldo and you're taking 100 different I don't know penalties and you don't
Shots,
score,
yeah.
why someone is taking 10 and scores 9, what this is completely wrong. That's so I came with this realization. I start reading and I
Okay.
start kind of listening more to what I felt I would love to do for the rest of my life. Because if I have to fail, I'd rather fail in something I love for the rest of my life. So I start thinking, okay, no more, okay, let's do 2-3 years of pain. What is the best pain for the next 50 years? 60 years? What pain can I just at least go for? And then I read a book that is called one of the most ancient esoteric book. It's called the Bhagavad Gita, and it's an Hinduist book. And it's about basically this talk of this soldier. But basically, it's this soldier then needs to start a war, and he talks with Krishna, Vishnu, something one of the two. And this guy, this Vishnu guy or Krishna guy, let's say it's Krishna. Krishna say to him, "Look, the only formula to every success is do whatever you feel is right, whatever you feel is inside right, and then do it the best of your abilities, completely forgetting the outcome. That's the thing."
Mm.
And I was doing the best of my abilities, but I was definitely only focusing the outcome, and I wasn't definitely doing what I felt like doing. So I'm like, okay, let's reframe everything. And then back in the day, I decided to do an event in Sicily, and I'm very well known in the emerging markets, but in Sicily, in Italy, nobody knew about me.
Even though you're Sicilian.
Even though I'm Sicilian, like nobody knew about me. And when I came and talked to people about me, people would think I was crazy because I'm like, hey, I help startups raise 400 million. That is true. I go invest in a unicorn. That is true. I create and advise governments on policies and startups. I went Mongolia, South Africa, and that was true. And people were like, we what? What? So people were skeptical about me. And I said to them, and I decided at that day that I says, you know what, if I have to do what I really like, I just want to run an event. I feel I want to run an event. I want to run an event that's going to be the best event ever. And I'm going to bring to Palermo, that's my town, I'm going to bring 30 investors from all over the planet, start from the plan. I want to bring more than 10 billion in capital. I want to be the top event in Italy. And when I talk about it, people thought I was crazy, but I kept like pushing, and everything went amazing. And after everything went amazing, I received an offer. I'm not going to tell you what this offer was, but to lead a 30 million or $50 million fund in Singapore. But now it didn't sit well with me, because I knew if I would go there, I will have cooler route. I will post on LinkedIn, I will get 2,000 likes, but then it wouldn't be my dream. And I felt like I want to go around and help startups again more and grow more and help governments more in emerging markets in Africa, maybe helping students more. So I did the most not logical thing. So basically is I went into this downhill journey when I was absolutely disgusted by me and what I was doing, and was every day thinking that everything was very bad because I'm not that good after all. And I touched the bottom, and then I said, everything I've done was bad. Let's do something I enjoy. And I start with the event, and then I achieve a lot of new stuff that came out. Everything went great. And I achieve a lot of lucky things. So things that happened for me for no reason that were great. So let me know, like, it's kind of the universe way to let me know that everything is going right. And then I understand what I really want, and life is much better. And once I get a specific offer, a very good offer, I said no, because I'm on my way. Now, what is important now? From this down to this up, there is a phase where you don't believe, like you said, exactly like you said, it's not that easy to believe that you just need to enjoy the process and do what you like, because your mind is telling you, no, no, no. You need to work hard and sacrifice your happiness. That's what your mind keep telling you. How do I get rid of that? I got rid of that by learning the work of the number one psychologist on the planet that is dead. If you want, I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Vienna, in the early 900, there were three super top psychologists: Freud, Jung, and there was another guy that people don't give an absolute crap about him, that is called Adler. Now it's getting new, but back in time, but 30s, everybody talks about Freud and Jung. Nobody talks about this guy. What this guy say is the thing. The guy says that your mind has the goal to protect you from dying. That's it. To do so, he prefers a bad known than any unknown. So anytime there is an unknown, it goes back to the bad known. Okay, that's the concept. Now let's put it into practice. What does that mean? It means that if, for instance, I have a tendency to find a super jealous girlfriend, there's a chance, and I don't like it. I don't like to be controlled. I like to be free. I don't like to be doubted. There's a chance that subconsciously I'm gonna find another super jealous girlfriend, because the alternative is unknown. I never done it. Okay. Now, to do so, I'll build my own excuses. And some of the time they're called traumas. I will say I have a trauma and I need this. I have a trauma with my dad and I need this. I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to a restaurant and they give you order wrong. And you go to the waiter and says, you absolute piece of shit. You should be ashamed of yourself. I wish you the worst. The order was wrong. And then we can say, you know what? It happens because I got a rage moment. My emotion came out. The reality is this. The reality is that somehow, and we don't care why, and we don't care how, you learn that during your childhood, from your dad, from the books, whatever, that is the best option. The option right now that you're used to is to shout at people, so you kind of claim the respect. You are afraid of something. You're afraid of losing respect. This guy give you a wrong order, and you attacked him because you know he's bad, but it's the best option you have to avoid losing respect. That's it. He could come for something. And now you say, you know what? I'm sorry about it. You could have said to the waiter as a polite, with much more politeness, hey, this is the wrong order. But you decide to be angry about it and you justify yourself by saying, hey, I was enraged. But you weren't enraged. You choose to be enraged, so you could justify your feeling. There was, I need to shout at this guy because he's my safe place. When I shout at people, I know what's going to happen. When I don't shout at people, God knows. So basically, the point is, I understood that every time, because now it's very, it makes sense, but it's confusing. So I'll clarify. The
Yeah,
point is,
share like what has been for you, like your moment
yeah,
of
yeah.
realization.
So the point is, you are shit. You are not good. You keep thinking that this is not going well. You will losing your time. And then you said, you told yourself you're going to work for 5, 6 hours and you work for 2 hours. Okay, these are all the things. Everything is going bad. Now you hear bottom and he says, I'm gonna do only what I like. And I'm gonna follow my instinct and I'm gonna do everything I like because I don't care. And everything, just FYI, everything I like most of the time, is something that makes the world a better place because it gives you joy. Not all the time, but most of the time, yes. So you do something to help others because it gives you joy. So now you start this journey and you start walking it and says, okay, you know, what do I like? I like events. I like doing events and meeting people and meeting governments. Okay, let's do this. But then it's like this thing in your mind comes and says, you're not good enough. Everything failed. Why these things should be got differently? And wait, you're choosing something and you don't care about the results. This is a ticket to failure land. So when these thoughts come in, you say to yourself, this is what I used to think, and this is was my safe places because the other place, the unknown. So what's going to happen if I don't care about the results? I don't know. But the back in time was so shit that I don't care if I didn't know about it because just have to get away from it. And then you grow and you get, and then the more you go, the more you feel help along the way. You discover new things. And I discover two new things that help me a lot. Your results is absolutely proportional to how confident you are. 100%. If you are 100% confident you're gonna make it, 100%, but you of course you can fake it, but fake it is fake it. But if you're 100% confident inside of you that you're gonna make it, it's gonna work 100%. And you can see that every time in the fights. I'm a semi-pro fighter, and you can see the confidence is the number one indicator of a winner. Like if someone is confident about fighting, he always wins. Always.
This is why when I interview people that come from the professional sports kind of settings, they all speak about the mindset and this goal of, okay, going back into the know, like knowing inside of you that what you're doing makes absolutely sense.
Yeah, it's knowing you. There's no maybe. There's that I win. Like I know I win. Like what's there to see? If I put the water in the fridge, it's gonna become ice. There's nothing to. I'll see. It's
Yeah,
not
it's a
ice.
fact. It's a fact.
And that's it. So I'll do this, and you learn this, and then so you learn that basically all your thoughts pattern, you take them away, and you think, okay, everything I've done, everything I thought, it just protect me from nothing. And then you learn the more confident you are, the better is it. So even if you have 1% of chance, you put it to 110% of it. And then last but not least, you learn that the only people that succeed are the ones that enjoy a lot what they do. And by enjoy a lot what they do, it means that if you think about it, why the Rolling Stones, Ozzy Osbourne died last week. Why this guy's been playing again? Like he could move and he went to a concert to play a charity concert. Why? Because he likes it. So it doesn't come from, he never did it for the money. He did it for the joy of himself. He's enjoying himself. Why people why, I remember like this, why Cristiano Ronaldo is playing in Saudi. He doesn't need the money. He's doing this because he likes it. J.K. Rowling wrote a new book with a pseudonym. Why? Because she likes it. So what I mean is like, the only way to get the success is being confident, what I've seen, and do something that you truly enjoy and will do regardless. And that's the two main lessons that I
how do you
got.
know how do you know what you truly enjoy. Bring me back a little bit on the journey for you to understand, okay, that's really what I enjoyed. Because for me, it's been quite also difficult to discern, let's say, what I truly love versus what I think I loved because somebody else told me that I should be loving.
Mm-hmm. So there's three things. What do you love very much? The first thing is you don't need to decide right. You don't need to be right now, but you can pick among all the projects that you have the one that you like the most to do,
Mm.
despite us like the one that you enjoy the most. So even a slightly bit. The second thing is it might get tiring, but it feels good. So I remember I would work like I would wake up and work and I go to bed, work until I go to bed, but it felt good. So that's the other indication. Is it like easy? It's like running. Running, is tiring, but it feels good. That's the second indication. The third indication that is more of an esoteric thing, but I would love always to say that. There's a sentence in Sanskrit that says, whatever is in Buddhism, that is, whatever you're seeking is seeking you. So whatever you want in life, really want in life, is actually want to come to you in a certain way. So you have in a certain way to, that's what I've done, to kind of think of yourself for certain things that happen in your life that you enjoyed a lot, that happened to you, and that made no sense. Like I'll give you an example. Always being called to go at conferences and speak at conference, even if I was nobody. And since I was 12, I go always on stage. So I know this is, and I loved it. I loved it, but I never looked for it, just came. So what I mean is, this is a sign that I love it. It always works for me. This is a sign that's part of the things I should do.
I top. Love it. Love it. Let me wrap up the conversation with one last question, which is, now that you know what you love and you're doing it, is there anything else in your life, in your routine, that you learned, that you built for keeping yourself at peak performance? Like, is it, now that you love what you're doing, does it mean that you're happy every day? Does it mean that you are peak performance every day? I guess there's disbalances some days. So how do you navigate through this journey for yourself?
So there's the only two things that that's what I told you that I really feel change everything. The first one is you need to build a sense of confidence that it should be like, it should be annoying. It should be super high. And once you have a confidence, everything's going to be all right.
How do you build it?
The confidence, you need to be kind of, is the same way that I told you you had bad thoughts. So you are the only reason. Okay. So this is going to take 2 minutes, but it's super, super interesting. You think Ale, and everybody else think that confidence is let's say there's a glass and you have some level of confidence and you pour this confidence into this glass and now you're 50%. Let's say you Ale, you want to be #1 podcast in Italy. Just give you an example. And then you says, how confident are you? And then you think that 10%. So in this glass, you have a 10% filled with confidence. That's what you think, correct?
Let's assume.
That's not the way our mind works. The reality is that you always have 100%, but of different glasses. So there's a glass that says Alessandro Grandpa has a 10% chance to be the top podcast in Italy. And this glass is full 100%. So you always have unlimited amount of confidence, but in the wrong thing.
Mm.
Do you understand? Because for me, it's easy because I say that. But do you understand what I mean?
I understand this. I still don't understand how do I
Yeah.
change the glasses.
That's the first step. But you agree on this. You have unlimited amount of confidence in the wrong thing.
Like I
But
can be
now,
100% confident of failure, for instance, and this is still a
100%,
full glass.
100%,
Okay.
100%. Perfect. You understood perfectly. Now, how do we change glasses? How do we get rid of the glass of 10% and get rid of the 100% glasses? Why you don't think that you have 100% confidence to achieve first spot in Italy? Why? I'm
First,
telling you.
because the podcast is we are speaking in English.
This is, listen, okay. So first podcast
No,
in
joking. Okay, no worry. No,
first,
I want to make your life start there.
yeah. So why? Why you don't think so?
Um, because I don't know, there could be not enough followers.
Okay, you couldn't. So you doubting your way to get follower, and you doubting your way that someone else will come up with a better concept. Someone that maybe someone will come up with much bigger budget, much bigger guest. It's fair, right? But at the end of the day, the main reason why you don't believe you're not gonna make it, or you have a 10% chance to make it, no 100, is because your brain think my best option is think that I have a 10% chance. Because God knows why, if I think I have 100%, I might feel a dumb, disillusioned child that think is crazy. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
you are protecting yourself by thinking it's 10%, and you're protecting yourself for multiple things. You're protecting yourself maybe so you can work more to push yourself more, because you think if you think you made it, you're not going to work, and that could be an option, because we've been taught that if you're cocky, you're never going to make it. So it makes sense. I'm not going to be cocky, so I'm going to make it. Or the second thing is,
Or I don't want to be cocky because otherwise I'm gonna become, I don't know, Trump kind of person, and I don't want to be
perfect.
that.
There's another thing. Is like, listen, I don't want to be cocky because I have the bigger fear that people will see me as cocky and be a Trump like
Mm.
person. So no. With that said, Trump is another topic I personally enjoy, but that's another story. I'm not politically expert at all, but yeah. Or it's because, you know what? If I fail, I'd rather not put my all hope in it. So I avoid.
Mm.
There's multiple reasons, but we don't care about the reason. We don't care why you think it's 10%. We just know that the main reason is that you fear the unknown. You have a fear, and this fear is telling you, I need to believe that I have a 10% chance, because I don't know what's going to happen if I have 100% chance. So you have to tell yourself, it's not true. The best option I have is being 100% confident. And once you do that, you start becoming confident. It doesn't happen overnight. It probably takes 2 weeks,
I see.
but it happens. And that's how you become confident.
And that's how you keep yourself at peak performance? Like, is it just working on the confidence, or is it also, I don't know, eating the right stuff, doing some sport, spending time outdoors? I mean, what do you do for yourself that you know, okay, this makes me feel good, and if I feel good, I can go straight towards my goals?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. Why? Because what you ask is, what you really ask between the line is, what would you really sacrifice to achieve your goal? Would you sacrifice your eating so you can be more performative? That's legit. But what I really, based on what we discussed, is like, you really need to what make you feel good. I'm trying to eat good. I train 2 or 3 times at least a week. I try to train every day, but I travel 250 days a year, so it's not that easy. I spend in nature at least 20, 30 minutes a day. I meditate like crazy. But none of those things I do there for the peak performance. I do because I like it.
Hmm.
So the point is exactly what we meant. There's nothing that you should do for your performance and everything that you should do for your joy. And sometimes the two things go together, because the more you train, the more you sharpen work, or the more you eat good things, the more you sharpen your life. When you were a kid, you want to eat pizza and ice cream all day. And right now that you have power and you can eat pizza and ice cream all day, you don't do that. But you fear that if you just take care of yourself, then you're gonna do the worst thing, then you're gonna eat ice cream all day. But it's not true. You're gonna always do the best thing for you if you follow what you like. That's the full point of everything I say.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for the conversation, Francesco. It was definitely insightful, deep enough, and I hope for the other ones clear enough on the steps to be taken, because something is to say it, something else is to do it, and I think doing it and having a clear process and believing in the process itself, it's fundamental.
Let's do it. Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks, Francesco. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. It's been great. Thank you so much. Ciao, Ale.